Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to The Big Picture. It is Monday night, baby. Thank God it's Monday. It's The Big Picture Live. Coming to you live from somewhere on the outskirts of Birmingham, Alabama. I am your host, Larry Ragland. I'm actually co-host, Larry Ragland. The Queen will be coming in just a minute. And we just want to welcome everybody in here. The live chat is already blowing up. The number of people that started the program is looking really, really good. Tonight is going to be an amazing night. We want to remind you that we are also broadcasting live on Rumble. If you are a follower of Rumble and you'd like to use Rumble, or if you want to use that as a backup, let's just double check and go over here and just make sure that we are live on Rumble. And I think we are, y'all. Let's see. Let's just double check. And there it is, y'all. So, look, I'm going to show y'all. I can show you right now. We are live on Rumble. That is live, baby. So if you don't follow us on Rumble, make sure you do that tonight when the program is over. That will be a blessing. All you got to do is go to rumble.com/user/Larry Ragland and follow us on Rumble in case we get kicked off. We are here every Monday night on YouTube and Rumble live at 7 p.m. Central Time for breaking news. Awake, not woke. Start telling your family, start telling your loved ones, start telling your coworkers when you see things going on in the news. What are they talking? How are they going to react on the big picture? I'm telling you, some of you are already telling me. You're already telling me, hey, when I see this on the news, I want to know what Larry and Sandy's going to say about it. So that's awesome. That is amazing. So speaking of my co-host, let me bring her in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
So excited to be
here. The one
and
only. Woo! My baby, my queen.
Praise God. It's Monday night.
TGIM. Everybody's excited to see you, baby. And I'm
excited to be here, and wow, what a week, what a weekend.
What a week. I mean, every week we just like
I'm telling you, it's just it literally is like things are speeding up, right?
They really are. They really are. And, you know, you really want to know why they're speeding up, then join us on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock because we're doing a verse-by-verse teaching of the book of Revelation right here on the Big Picture Live. So just want to let you know. And, Sandy, tonight the live chat is exploding.
I see that.
I mean, people from all over the world are coming in. It's what we call the church family. And I love how they say that when they come in. They say, welcome, church family. Love you, family. We are going to try our best tonight because of the topics that we're going to cover. We're going to try to keep a peripheral vision on there because we're going to want to know some of your comments that you're going to have tonight because we're going to get into some stuff tonight,
You
y'all.
see us we're trying to look at that top monitor way up high to see what's going on in chat.
Yeah, because that's where all y'all stuff's going on. All y'all.
We've got monitors everywhere. Look left, look right, look up.
Look here, we got Quebec watching tonight. I just saw that.
Are you serious? We need to ask these guys, how are the fires up there? What's going on in your area?
We're going to get right into that. That's going to be one of our top news stories tonight. But
great.
Sandy, it's good to have you back on the program. It's just crazy,
Always
crazy
great to be here with our online church.
Yes. So we'll talk about this very quickly, then we'll come back to it at the end of the site. But we want to let you know that we are releasing our brand new book.
Yes.
If you have not pre-ordered yet, all you got to do is go to LarryRagland.tv, LarryRagland.tv, and you'll see that there. This is our website. You can pre-order I See Greatness in You. And, of course, you can also watch the little movie trailer of our life. That's me and Sandy down there, actors portraying me and Sandy. And it's just a really cool and surreal thing. We also have our merchandise available if you want to be a part of the greatness gear and be a part of the greatness movement. All there on our website. Sandy, we got a lot of ground to cover tonight.
I'm telling you what, we packed the stories in tight tonight, and it's going to be fast and furious.
It really is. Somebody should make a movie called Fast and Furious. That'd be cool.
Maybe a series.
Maybe 25 movies. I mean, I don't know how many they've got out there right now.
Yes, you could create a following and make a ton of money.
But you know what's crazy? I've not ever seen a single one. Have you?
Maybe just a few minutes.
I've not seen a single one. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all are going to be shocked by that. But, you know, we like to start with breaking news that's happening today, and it is literally happening at this moment.
We talked about this, a couple of weeks ago?
Yes.
And here it is.
So right before we went on the air, if you'll notice, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, that's 4:30 p.m. our time, which is an hour and a half ago, right? 5:30, 6:30, 2.5 hours ago. This literally launched. This is the largest military
Yes.
operation in the history of NATO.
It is.
And as you said, we talked about it a few weeks ago. It's called Air Defender 2023, and it has begun. Not just begun, they are in the air
25
right now.
countries, 10,000 participants.
Yes, yes.
So many pieces of equipment. You see in this article, 250 aircraft, 190 combat aircraft, and this is commencing in a place called Wunstorf Air Force Base in Germany. That's
Yeah.
the centerpiece.
Yeah.
But
Look at this map, though. Look where it's at, and look how in relation to Ukraine that it is. I mean, you can't see I don't think you can see my mouse. I don't know if you can or not. Maybe you can. No, I don't think you can. But you see where the little pin is,
Yep.
and then look down to the bottom right, and you'll see Ukraine. You'll see
yes.
Russia. I mean, that is right on the doorsteps of the Ukrainian war.
exactly.
So let's read this. The largest Air Force deployment exercise in NATO history, Air Defender 23, kicked off today, just a few hours ago. It is actually happening live right now while we're talking about it in Germany. Many people fear that this, quote, exercise is actually a cover for NATO to directly involve itself in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, thereby commencing World War III. Yep. You know, all our lives, Sandy, we've talked about World War III. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. But it almost seemed like something in a movie. But every week, something is happening that we're covering that makes you realize we really could be involved in World War III.
It feels like a ramping up and a ramping up. And this writer doesn't hold anything back right here in the first paragraph, just saying in that last sentence, could possibly commence World War III.
World War III. So this is going on from June 12th to June 23rd. As you said, 10,000 participants from 25 countries with 250 aircraft, 190 combat aircraft, all based there in Germany, the majority of which was donated by the United States, of course. The warehouse is the largest in Germany and holds about 2.4 million liters of kerosene. And you know,
look what they said at the end of that. We're not hinting at
anything. Yeah, exactly. On Saturday, about 300 people protested in front of the air base against NATO exercises. The protesters demanded diplomatic solutions instead of the use of weapons and called for an end to the conflict in Ukraine. Yeah, good luck with that. That's just not going to happen. This thing is planned. This thing has a big ending that's coming. And it is not going to be peace. I believe it's going to be the escalation of wars all over this world. I believe we're getting ready to see the beginning of what would be known.
Think of the self-control and discipline that Russia has already exercised to this point, not even before this conflict actually started, which is like, February of last year.
Yeah.
There were provocations. There were things going on before it actually went live. And since it's gone live, more and more and more intense, and still, they haven't done anything really crazy yet.
Right.
But seems like it could happen anytime.
It could happen anytime. And while this is going on, we've been trying to remind you, don't stop looking at Taiwan, because look what just broke today. The U.S. is preparing evacuation plans for American citizens in Taiwan. My God, this sounds familiar. I mean, it's like deja vu. Wars in Ukraine and Afghanistan hangover, planning for worst case scenarios. And of course, there's a video. I'm not going to play that for time purposes, but listen to this. The U.S. government is preparing evacuation plans for American citizens living in Taiwan. 3 sources has told the Messenger. The planning has been underway for at least 6 months and has heated up over the last 2 months or so, said a U.S. senior intelligence official who spoke on the condition of anonymity, of course, because he wasn't authorized to discuss the planning. The official said a heightened level of tension had driven the preparations.
You think?
You think? Yeah, exactly. I mean, just last week, China said, hey, anybody that helps Taiwan, we're at war with. It's nothing that you wouldn't read in the news, he told the Messenger. Forces are building up as China is aligning with Russia on Ukraine. So look at this headline again in your comments, that right now, while we're executing this NATO military exercise, the largest in NATO history, right on the doorstep of the Ukrainian-Russian war, the United States realizes that something is coming in Taiwan, so much so that they've already put into place evacuation of United States citizens.
So I read most of this article. I believe it's this article. Goes on down and says, yes, we're planning, we're getting ready, but that doesn't necessarily mean that a conflict is about to break out.
Yeah.
But listen, when the cat's out of the bag, it's hard to sway people to think otherwise.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many, what words you use to try to pull their ideas and their thoughts away from that.
Yeah.
They're clearly saying we're doing this.
Yeah.
But they're not following up by saying, so get ready, it's about to happen.
And don't forget, let's remind the Big Picture listeners, and if you're new to the channel, we want to remind you that not long ago, just a few weeks ago, we showed you the leaked document where one of our military generals said to his subordinates, we will be at war with China. United States will be at war with China in 2024, is what he said. And so we're beginning to see, you know, the tinfoil hat people, they're batting pretty good batting average right now. Yeah. Because if you think all this is not conspiracy. We do not spread conspiracy. We show you the articles, we comment on them, we do the best we can to vet it. These things are happening. The Russia-Ukrainian war is happening. There is going to be some type. Listen to me. This is not a prophecy. This is anybody with any common sense knows there will be some type of military conflict between China and Taiwan, and America is going to be involved in it. And let me just show you this too. Say this while all this is going on, if you don't think that this stuff is planned, if you don't think that other governments have been looking, can I just be real? I'm not being political. I'm just speaking the obvious, that other nations who used to fear us, looking at the condition of our world right now, they do not fear us at all. We are the laughing stock of the world. Yes. And I want to show you something that is literally breaking right now. This came out this week. Several people are leaking that China not only is coming across the southern border. Remember last week, everybody that was in line was China. And we talked about, you know, we're not against the Chinese people, but how are these people getting here from a communist country that you have to have permission to leave? We're being invaded from the south. And I'm going to tell you, just a little bit south of Florida is a place called Cuba. Look at this. Cuba has a big history with communists in our past. Let's don't forget that.
Yes, they do.
China is operating spy facilities in Cuba and have been doing it, Sandy, since 2019. The White House is confirming. In less than 48 hours, officials from the Biden administration have contradicted themselves multiple times. Listen to this. This is mind-boggling. This just shows you, never believe what you hear, and certainly never believe what you hear the first time you hear it.
Come on.
The White House clarified Saturday that China has operated a spy base in Cuba since at least 2019, according to the Wall Street Journal, following reports that Beijing reached a tentative agreement to set up a new operation somewhere on the island country. The White House had said on Friday that it characterized this report as inaccurate, that the Wall Street Journal had reported of a planned Chinese surveillance outpost in Cuba focusing on intercepting electronic communications, including emails and radio transmissions in the southeast United States. Think about the balloons, too. However, White House officials told the outlet Saturday that the Biden administration had worked to tamp down on China's repeated attempts to spy on the U.S. since Biden took office, and said China has had a surveillance operation in Cuba since at least 2019. Now, I want to ask you a question. If we agreed to this and they finally come and agree to it, that means that we've known this. We've known this. We've been in denial, but we've known that China has a surveillance office administration in Cuba since 2019. So that meant we knew this when the balloons came across.
Come on.
All of this mess about this has nothing to do with surveillance is a bunch of hogwash. There is a planned attempt, whether it is actual people, military personnel trying to invade our country, there is a technological, economic, governmental launch of attack that is coming against this country from China. Do you agree?
I totally agree. And let's go back 5-7 years ago. Remember those U.S. officials, I believe it was in Cuba, that came under this weird attack?
That's right.
Did they not accuse the Chinese of, what did they even call it?
I don't remember what they called it.
Basically, it was a frequency weapon.
It was a frequency weapon.
it really harmed and damaged a few of these people
It caused-
seriously.
Some of these soldiers and some of these intelligence people were completely deaf. They lost their hearing completely.
But worse than that, it damaged other. I can't even remember what it exactly did. But this was a strange, curious, but also dangerous thing.
Right. So if the Chinese, you're right, was blamed for that, openly blamed for that on the news.
And how weird was that? Okay.
How long
Cuba,
ago was that? That was back during Trump administration.
Minimum 5 years, maybe 7 years.
So that meant China was already working there,
Hello.
already working with.
But you triggered me when you said technological, all the technological advances and technological things that they have going on. So
Yeah. Okay. Somebody said Havana syndrome.
That's it. Havana syndrome. Thank you.
Look at that live chat. Live chat is awesome. They always know.
She's on it.
We have the most educated viewers
Love it.
in America, in
Love
the
it.
world, in a world where
you go.
people are sheep and
That's
they don't know what's going on.
That's the one.
The world found the big picture. All right. So a lot of stuff. And by the way, I'm sorry that I triggered you. I heard you say the word trigger. I don't mean to trigger you.
You trigger me often.
Hey, you trigger me too. That's another show.
Another conversation for another time.
Moving on. Yes. So look, while that's going on at the South, we got stuff going on in Mexico. We got stuff going on at the border.
Yes.
We got stuff going on in Cuba.
Yes.
But ain't got nothing to worry about in Canada. Our friends in Canada, I mean, everything from Canada coming to us is wonderful and great. Maybe not. Canadian wildfires. This is very serious, y'all. This isn't crazy stuff here. Out of nowhere, just one day on the news this week, everybody says, "Have you heard about the fires in Canada?" Canadian wildfires.
Then the next day, New York is enveloped in smoke.
It looks like the apocalypse.
Yeah.
It says here, and by the way, this is the forecast that they're saying. Canadian wildfires are intensifying and could last all summer long.
They're really smart. They've got this figured out. They already know that it's going to last the rest of the summer.
Ain't that amazing how they can predict things like that? News and intensifying fires are forcing the evacuation of thousands across Canada as the country battled out-of-control blazes that provincial minister warned on Saturday could last all summer. Now, according to NDTV, nearly 17,800 square miles have already burned since the beginning of the year, well above previous averages as the country warms. Of course, that's what it's all about. Warms quicker than the rest of the world amid climate change. The country's west has been particularly hit after several days of respite. Fires intensified in Alberta, where Friday night the town of Edson saw its second evacuation. But we've heard about this. But Sandy, here we go.
Yes.
These Canadian wildfires, got something really suspicious going on about.
Come on,
them.
let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it. So, a satellite video posted online this week purportedly shows numerous wildfires erupting simultaneously.
There is the interesting word.
In Quebec.
So maybe we should pull up Webster's Dictionary app up and tell us exactly what simultaneously means.
I don't think I need it. I can tell you what it means. At the same time. More than... Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say in Quebec.
In Quebec. I've been to Quebec.
You sure have.
It's a very different place. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. They don't consider themselves Canadian up there. If you tell a Quebecian, and you have to say Quebec, it's not Quebec, it's Quebec. If you tell a Quebecian citizen that they are Canadian, that's not good. They don't like the Canadian people. More than 400 fires burned across Canada on Thursday, with over a third of them in French-speaking province. Addison Smith, a reporter with Just the News. By the way, we met John Solomon, the creator and president of Just the News, while we're at the National Religious Broadcasters, and I interviewed him with a brief 5-minute interview here. He's a really, really nice guy and a cool guy, owner of Just the News. Tweeted a satellite video apparently showing the multiple outbreaks. This footage has been making the rounds on TikTok. Quebec's fires all start at the same time. How? Look at this right here. This is a satellite video. Now, you'll notice right around where you see the play button, look to the left and to the top, and you'll see all of a sudden, because there's no sound on this video.
Is this from Dutch Sense? Who offered this?
Addison Smith.
Okay, this is Addison Smith.
Addison Smith.
I know Dutch Smith captured the same thing.
Okay, so you'll see that
Dutch
you'll
sense,
see
I'm sorry.
smoke just appear all of a sudden. Now, these are the wildfires, and this is time stamped at the same time. You see them spouting up. These are wildfires. All those wildfires, and it just sort of rotates back and forth. So I'm going to leave it rotating there. So
Interesting.
All of these little spouts that are going in the same direction towards the bottom there, those are wildfires, different wildfires, and that's a large span of area. If you think about it, looking from space, that's a huge span. So all of these fired up literally at the same time.
So I have a couple questions. This article was talking about in the province. It meant Quebec, correct?
Yes.
And these fires are all 17 of them popping up at the
17.
same time in Quebec, correct?
All 17.
And you said they don't consider themselves part of, because when I read this
Average
article
citizen,
and we
yeah.
were doing the pre-show today, I literally wanted to do some research on Quebec and find out, is this some kind of thing that happened to Southwest Airlines where we need to get you in line,
Wow.
or we need to get you on the same page as the rest of us? Like maybe you didn't get the memo, or maybe you got the memo and you didn't.
It's very possible.
So
It's very
these are the
possible.
kinds of ideas that were popping into my mind.
It's very possible because they are rebels. Now, don't get me wrong. They are liberal, big time liberal,
sure.
for the most part, and very, very non-religious. Very, very few people are believers there because of things that happened in the past, religious persecution. But that's just fascinating.
Yes.
But then when all of a sudden the winds, see how the winds are pushing them towards America.
Yes.
So as the winds were pushing them to America, this is what we got in New York City. This is like something out of a horror movie, y'all.
Yeah, it's
This is just wild. Look at this. This is no filter. This is no filter, y'all. This is what it looked like in New York. And if we've got people watching from New York, comment on the live chat and let us know.
Can you imagine? I mean, we were in New York just a very short time, but the people so compressed in this small area, and a lot of them walk from place to place. You're in a high rise. I mean, can you imagine
Wow,
that many people
no.
trying to get around and live and conduct daily activities in that kind of environment?
Yeah, that's the George Washington Bridge. I mean, look, you can't even see the other side.
Trying to breathe, just breathe.
Breathe, yeah. Of course, everybody's wearing masks again and all of that. That's just horrible. And,
terrible.
I watched a pastor that I follow, Mike Signorelli, who's interviewed on this program about demonization, everything, powerful man of God. He did a video where he was asking the world, please pray for my citizens, because he pastors right there in New York City. And he's like, legitimate, this is not hype. We cannot go outside and go to the store. We cannot walk around. We can't breathe. People with asthma, people with any kind of breathing issues are having horrible, horrible issues of what's going on. This is the world that we're living in. But of course, this is climate change. Climate change has the ability to simultaneously light 17 forest fires with a wind direction going towards New York City. The world climate is amazing, Sandy. I'm telling you, the things that this earth can do on its own is mind-boggling.
Yep.
So, okay, it's time. We don't like to cover these things. We've got to have at least one, because we're right in the middle of what the Bible says comes before the fall, called Pride.
Yes.
We're right in the middle of Pride Month.
Yes.
And I don't know what to say. Look, I'm not trying to be judgmental of you. If you voted for President Biden, I'm just going to pray that you just really hated Trump so much, and I don't know why, but I don't even matter. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just trying to tell you, if you are still going, yay, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, yay, I hate Trump, I hate mean tweets, so I love Biden. Well, I don't get why they are just literally cannot stop this, y'all. This is the largest Pride celebration in the history of the White House. And what came out today is that Biden and his administration actually violated federal law with hanging the Pride flag the way that they hung it. I want you to notice this is in the White House lawn there on their Pride Day festival. You have the American flags on both sides, the Pride flag in the middle. Joe Biden constantly unleashes rants against those who have failed to adopt his presidency's main goal. That's their main goal. Listen, They've said it. The press secretary has said when people question things about the border, question things about the economy, do you know what she comes back and says? But we are the most LGBTQ-friendly administration in history. That's how they reply to the border. He repeatedly suggested changing the nation's law to accomplish the ideology. Now, look at this. This is, of course, people are this commentary here, but it says to advance revolutionary transgender agenda targeting children, Biden violates basic tenet of U.S. flag code and disrespects every American service member buried under its colors. He goes on, this chief of government watchdog, Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton, goes on to explain in the United States flag code, quote, the flag of the United States of America should be at the center and at the highest point of the group when a number of flags of states or localities or pennants of societies are grouped and displayed from staff.
Yes.
Now you see what's in the center.
Well, let's talk. Okay, we're a church. We have the American flag and the Christian flag.
Yes.
Out by the road.
Yes.
We cannot even hang the Christian flag higher than the American flag.
No.
So, this isn't anything about hating any certain group. This is the standard of our country.
Yeah.
No flag should fly higher than the American flag. It's just as simple as that.
Well, here's my question. We've never put a flag in the middle to celebrate Jewish heritage. There's never been one to celebrate African-American heritage in a flag in the middle. There's never been one to celebrate a Christian organization, like you said, or Muslim or whatever.
Right.
Never. Are you hearing me? Never. I'm not saying that these flags have never flown. I'm not saying that the White House has never had different colors on it and all this, but this has never happened. And the only time it's ever happened is a flag, listen to me, to celebrate who you have sex with. Sorry. Somebody had to say it. It ain't about an identity. It's about who you want to have sex with. And that is what pride is about. So you can do that. You're free to do that in America. You're free to do that. You're free to do any kind of sin you want to do. You're free to commit a crime, but there's a penalty if you commit a crime. But if you want to commit a sin, you can commit a sin. It's a free country. But the reality is this. This is the United States of America. And I see how many people have died for those flags on the left and the right. How many people have served their country. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I'm moving on. I'm trying not to be mad, but I'm a little angry today because when you're talking about people who have risked their lives, left their families, served all over the world, fought wars, I'm telling you, somebody needs to say something. Not because of what the flag was, but somebody needs to stand back up and say the American flag has a special place in the hearts of American citizens. Yes. I'm not telling you to worship America. Don't worship the flag. The flag is not holy. The cross is holy. Jesus is holy. But we are citizens of the United States of America. Yeah. And you know what? If that offends you, you're on the wrong station the wrong channel because we are proud to be Americans here. We're not proud of everything America has done. We know America's done some very bad things, but we are still proud to be a part of the greatest nation in the world.
Yeah.
I digress, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna give myself a hand. I'm not worried about it. Good job, Larry. Good job. Awesome. Standing for the United States of America. Well, Sandy, I know you don't like to cover those things. I don't either, but we got to do it.
Yeah, it's tough.
But it's something else that it's time for, and we introduced this segment last week, and we're going to delve way deep in it tonight.
Yeah.
Are you ready, y'all?
Here we go.
Here we go. There's Uncle Jimmy.
How you doing, Jimmy?
Paranormal.
I tell you what.
Day.
How ahead of the wave was that new segment intro when we introduced that last week?
Yeah.
Had no idea what was about to happen to rock this country and maybe other parts of the world with the stories we're about to talk about.
And if you hadn't smashed that like button yet, and I'm not even half of the people that's watching live right now has done it yet, smash that like button.
You guys?
Come on. It don't cost you anything. It's free, and it helps us get in front of people that don't know anything about it. Smash Smash the like button. All right, so we're in the paranormal update. We call it that. We'll probably change the name up in the future. We don't like the word paranormal because we understand it's the spirit realm. But the world, we're trying to connect with the cool people, that with the History Channel and ancient aliens and all that kind of stuff. We're going to deal with that kind of mess because, there's a lot of stuff that's really going on, saying this is real stuff that's happening.
Yes.
So we're going to get into it. And the first one, as you just said, we had no idea that the world would be turned upside down by the report of this whistleblower, okay?
We've had stories drop. Oh, my goodness. Not just years, decades and decades. People have come forward or whatever.
Yeah.
But no one ever to this level.
That's right. Exclusive. This is from the Daily Mail. Crashed UFO recovered. Listen to the words of this whistleblower because they've been rolling this out every day on the channel News Nation. The U.S. military, this according to this whistleblower, quote, distorted when this crash happened. The U.S. military says it distorted space and time, leaving one investigator nauseous and disoriented. When he went in and discovered when he went in the ship, y'all, this is insane.
Listen closely, ladies and gentlemen.
When he went in the ship, he discovered it was much larger on the inside than on the outside. An attorney for the whistleblower reveals.
He
What?
Reports or at least estimates the outside, the exterior, to only be about 30 feet in diameter.
30 feet in diameter, right.
Okay, that's an above ground pool.
Right.
And
keep that in mind when you watch this video that we're going to show of some guy's backyard. Think about that.
And he goes inside, and what did he say? It's as large as a football stadium once he gets inside. And not only that, he thinks he's only been inside for, minutes?
Unreal.
And they'd say that you've actually been in there for hours? Or
Wait a
it's
minute.
something crazy.
Look at this guy.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry.
Is this Daniel Sheehan, the attorney?
This is the
Who
attorney.
that is?
This dude reminds me of that other guy that goes, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Why is all alien people always got weird hair?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a lawyer. But watch this. You're right, Sandy. Let's read here. The attorney told DailyMail.com that one alleged recovery recounted, like you said, a 30-foot saucer. And it says that they tried to hook a bulldozer to it to pull it out. And it pulled out a shape like a pie slice, almost like it was part of the way it was constructed. I'm sorry, y'all. This is great.
Look, we're going to try to be as serious as we can.
Because this is supposedly really being reported, okay? They had a guy go into it. He got in there. That's what you're talking about, Sandy.
Yes.
And it was as big as a football stadium. It was freaking him out.
According to him.
And started making him feel nauseous. He was so disoriented. He felt so gigantic in size. Quote, it was the size of a football stadium, while the outside was about 30 foot in diameter. He staggered back out in there for a couple of minutes. And outside, he found out it was 4 hours later. All right. So I got stuff to say, but I want to hear what you got to say first.
Look, I mean, what can you say? But what? I've heard for years that the distortion bends light around these craft when they're, in the sky, so that you can look up and maybe not even see or notice anything. Okay, well, that's a explanation for something.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that is what is said and what is believed by others. I haven't had that experience, at least, that I know about, looking up and thinking that I saw something and whatever. But all we can report to you is what is in the articles and what is said.
Right. But we are going to give you our opinion too. We're not going to hold back. We're going to give our opinion.
But this is crazy to me. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
to go inside, and it's a football stadium.
Yeah, like you said, so that he said.
That's what he said.
And, whether you believe this or not, if what really happened, if he went in some kind of craft or whatever, and it does have the technology to disorient time and space, that could have even been, it could have really been 30 feet.
To distort space-time.
Distort. He could have really been 30 feet, but it looked like in his perception or whatever.
Sure.
But this is the whistleblower guy. This is the guy that's turned the world upside down, David Grush. And if you'll notice down at the left-hand side there, News Nation, if you want to watch all the interviews, if you don't have News Nation on your TV, we have it on our YouTube TV, but you can go to newsnation.com, I think it is. It's a news organization, a startup news organization, and they were able to lock this down. Do you know why they were able to get this exclusive interview? Because Fox News turned them down, CNN turned them down, MSNBC turned them down. All the major ones, they shopped it, and they all said, we don't want this. And News Nation said they understood this is our ticket to the big time. And they have rolled this thing out. They have piecemealed it for the whole week, y'all, of what he said. And, of course, this is a picture of the NASA panel that convened, watch this, 1 week before the whistleblower went live on television. All these guys were sitting there, and their first words that came out of their mouth was, I heard Timothy Alberino talking about this week, and he said they opened. This is what the guy in the middle there said. He goes, let me begin to say, and I say this loud and proud. That was his words. And I thought that was weird. I thought, is he misquoting? Does he mean loud and consistent? I went back and looked at the dude said loud and proud from NASA and said, we want to make it very clear we have no evidence whatsoever of alien life, and we are in possession of no downed aircraft of other alien form. They said that 1 week before this guy came out. Now, you have to ask yourself, why did they do that?
What did you know, and when did you know it?
Yeah, what were they trying to get out in front of?
Yep.
Now, as we move on this story.
And you know what? According to what I hear over and over again, maybe they are not in possession of it.
Right.
But maybe somebody else is in possession of something.
Yeah. That's what we're hearing more and more, that the government really does have some form of deniability, because from what we understand, whatever's actually going on, whatever it is, even the president doesn't have a clue on the level of what some other people do that are a part of, whether you call it the cabal, the deep state, the elites, the powers that be, whatever.
Because he's just a 4, possibly 8-year man.
Yeah, right.
And the people that are in control of these programs are lifers.
They're lifers, yes.
They are there for very long periods of time, and they have clearances for these types of things that are above our president's head.
Yeah, and they got the keys to the bunkers. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
They would know where all the bunkers are. But here's the one that came out today that's pretty alarming. That is because, like I said, it's rolling out every day from what this guy is saying. Pentagon UFO whistleblower claims that people have been killed by non-human intelligences and says U.S. government will do anything to protect the secret. By the way, this guy, David Grush, was 14-year Air Force veteran, fought in many wars, and had really one of the highest security clearances that you can, and was working in the Department of the Air Force investigating UFOs. A Pentagon whistleblower who claims the U.S. has run a top-secret UFO retrieval program for decades says some of the non-human intelligences discovered are malevolent. Am I saying that right? Malevolent?
Yes.
I got it right. And have actually killed humans. By the way, malevolent means they're evil and they want to do you harm instead of benevolent. David Grush served 14 years in the Air Force and was told by the program by others who were involved. Grush, 36, is a decorated Afghanistan combat officer who went on to work for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office. His role was to act as its representative when dealing with unidentified aerial phenomena task force. The task force was set up to investigate UFOs. Now listen to what he says here. Over the last week, he has gone public, as what we have detailed, telling News Nation how the United States, watch this, is in a Cold War. And remember the Cold War? Our age, young people don't know what the Cold War is. We remember the Cold War between U.S. and Russia.
Yes.
That was the escalating, the threats, and all of the underlying threats of war, nuclear war. He is saying that we are in another Cold War with Russia and China regarding extraterrestrial life. In his recent comments, he says the non-human intelligences have acted with malevolence. I got it right one time, and has even killed some humans. Quote, I think the logical fallacy is that because they're advanced, they're kind. we'll never really understand their full intent, and that's because we're not them. But I think what appears to be malevolent activity has happened. That's based on nuclear site probing activities and witness testimony. What do you think, Sandy? This is unbelievable because he is openly saying, under whistleblower status, we have had people killed, and he goes on to say, and this is the part that might get me flagged here, that, look what it says here, and then you comment, Grush made the astonishing claim that the United States government would do anything to protect this secret, including killing people itself.
I have no problem believing that at all. I think people over the decades have probably been killed. People have probably been paid off to keep this under wraps. And I noticed these last two articles that we have read concerning this are both the Daily Mail.
Notice no Americans are covering it.
I didn't scour the internet or all the news sites to see if there were stories from American papers or, offering stories like this, but these are both from the Daily Mail. And it, wow. You talked about the whistleblower status. This has only come into being in the last 2 years where they offer protection for whistleblowers.
Yeah, comment on that because people hear whistleblowers and they think that just means somebody that's telling a secret. But there's a literal whistleblower status.
Yes. I don't know what all the parameters are for this program for whistleblowers, the protections that are provided, but who does he need protection from?
Exactly.
What I'm hearing is he needs protection from the private contractors. The private contractors of what? The private contractors that the United States government turns these craft or whatever they have over to back engineer, to research, to see how we can take what's found and develop it into technology that we use in our lives right now. What? Apparently it's so dangerous and so damaging that people have to be killed to protect whatever this is.
Wow. We want to say real quick, I just thought this. I want to thank all the partners right now. I want to jump in right now and tell you, if you have clicked that join button and become a partner with us, nothing encourages us more. When you click that button down there, hit that like button, and super chats and super thanks throughout the night is huge. Huge. Now, Sandy, so you made the comment very accurately so that the Daily Mail and some of the others are the ones that are covering this and saying things that the U.S. media are.
To that degree.
To that degree.
I haven't seen an article from a U.S. agency, paper, whatever you want to call it, that goes into that degree. Now, we are seeing other things. I mean, YouTube and other videos are offering other information.
But there is one thing that's being covered on some of the American media and even in some of the mainstream media, the national media. It's even being covered here in our local stations here in Birmingham. It's something that happened just this week.
This was the second big thing that happened after our show last Monday night.
So let's think about it. We introduced, let me pull it up again. We introduced this last week. Yes.
So I'm looking up in the chat while we're rolling the intro again, and I'm seeing Lockheed, BlackRock, Northrop Lockheed Skunk Works, Northrop Grumman. These are some of these corporations and private contractors that we're talking about that back engineers this downed craft or whatever.
Right. Exactly. And so now the whistleblower comes out. Then we have all of this, and then this happens, y'all.
Yes.
This happens. Las Vegas police respond to a home just this week after 911 call claims that UFO with aliens crashed in the backyard. This is crazy, y'all.
This was cray-cray.
This was crazy. Las Vegas police have released body cam and 911 audio of officers responding to a call from a family who claimed a UFO crashed in their backyard. According to ABC News, a family called 911 on May 1st to report something crashing in their backyard and they saw non-humans, creatures in it. In the 911 call audio release, the caller says he, his father, and his brother were in the large backyard working on their truck when something crashed and they felt an impact. Do you think so? You felt an impact, something from space. And it goes on. I don't know if this is the video that I want to show or not, but it says that we just saw in the corner of our eye something fall down from the sky, and it was lights, and it hit down like a big impact, and we felt it like an energy. And then we hear lots of footsteps near us, and then we have like a big equipment. We see there's like an 8-foot person beside it. Another one's inside. It has big eyes, is looking at us. They're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot, and they're not human. 100% they're not human. This was the 911 call. Sandy, what in the world happened in Nevada?
Exactly. Okay, so we watched a different video today where the young man, he appears to be about 16 years old.
We're going to show that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to show that.
Okay, great.
I mean, you want me to show it now?
No.
That was next, but we're going to show that. Yeah. This is the
We
actual.
can talk about it when
you just keep talking. This is the body cam footage. I'm just
Okay.
going to let it roll while you're talking.
So it doesn't have any audio on this? I don't
Maybe.
know.
Fall down from the sky,
Yeah.
Okay, I
and
can
it
hear
was with light. And when I hit down, it was like
Yeah,
a
let's watch this.
Okay, lady. Me, my dad, and my brother, we're working on a truck in our backyard, and we have a big lot outside, right? Correct?
Okay.
We were working, and we just see in a corner of our eye something fall down from the sky, and it was with light. And when I hit down, it was like a big impact, and we felt it. We felt like an energy, and then we hear like a lot of footsteps near us, and then we have a big
Look at this,
equipment, and
doing the
we
shake
see,
back
and
there.
there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and it's looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay,
Wow.
where is this on your property?
Wow. This is Nevada, y'all, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Thank you for that super sticker, DRW.
Yes.
Appreciate it. But a lot of stuff's going on out there in Nevada, so
Certainly.
it's a hotbed anyway. But your thoughts on this of what this guy said? Do you feel like? Now we're going to watch a video that he made himself. This young guy that made the call. When you first heard it, did you feel that it was genuine? What was your first initial reaction when you heard the 911 call and all of that?
I felt like this could go either way. You don't want to think someone is just blatantly making up a story and just telling lies. He sounded pretty genuine, but we're at a weird place in reality where, we're constantly being pulled this way and pulled that way and trying to be influenced to believe certain things. I absolutely believe people are seeing things.
They're seeing
are they
something.
seeing something real? Are they seeing technology that the government is using to try to make us believe certain things? Well, the government wants us to believe what they want us to believe.
Yeah.
And I do think something is going on. And
Yeah.
it's clear to me the government knows they can't control the phenomena of what's happening, but they're certainly trying to control a narrative. So if we are to believe this young man and his family, it appears to be they are losing their grip on
Right.
what's going on, and
Yeah.
it's about to get out of control because people that are seeing things
Yep.
are rising up to a fever pitch, and
Yep.
it's just going to explode all over the place at some point.
Absolutely, and you hit it when you said losing their grip on it, and they want to always be the one that brings the narrative. They always want to
They
be the
do.
one that brings the narrative, and when you are not in control of the narrative, then that's when things start getting crazy,
Yes.
and they start. Because here's the thing I want to say to you is. You think this is the first time anybody's ever called 911 and said they saw something in their backyard, that they saw a craft, whatever? No. But it came out now
Yep.
because there is obviously a concerted effort to now cover things that people have probably been reporting for years and years and years. Why now? Why is there an environment now? We've been telling you it's because they're getting ready to bring a great deception.
Yes.
And you know,
And that's why my first reaction is this could go either way. This could be something that the government is creating to lure us into what they want us to believe, or it could be that it's truly coming out of their control. Because certainly we've been led by their narrative.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
been on their timeline with every once in a while something they couldn't fully control popping out and trying to get some traction.
Yeah, when you watch the news when they're covering this, they have to laugh. They have to still laugh, and they'll be like, "Oh, have you heard about this that happened in Nevada? Was it little green men? Tell us about it." You know, and it's still trying to be a parody, but there is a very spiritual thing happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. So let's watch a little bit. We're going to watch all of it. Let's watch a little bit of this guy here. This is the young guy. I don't know how old he is. He looks like he's 16,
He
17.
looks very young, and I love the part. It's probably in this video where he goes on to say that they prayed.
They prayed, yeah. He said when this was over, we all got in the house and we just started praying.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
I like that part.
Yeah, I did too. I did too. And I'm gonna tell you, you got to give the kid credit. You know, if he's making this up, if his whole family's making this up, he's staying pretty consistent with his story, and he doesn't come across, and anything's possible nowadays, but he doesn't come across as somebody that's been paid and groomed to say certain things.
Here's one thing that I will say before you roll the video. One thing that the government is not going to be able to keep in control is the fact that every time, this seems to be a tactic of dropping something, releasing something,
Right.
letting it boil over for a day or two, and then nothing.
Right.
Pull the air out of the room and don't talk about it, don't address it,
Yep.
and see how people respond to it and what happens, and just wait till the next. This was, in my opinion, the next thing this
next
past
thing.
week.
Yep.
And it's kind of a slow roll technique. Let's give them a little bit,
Yeah, and we know-
pique some interest, let it roll around in their mind, see how they respond, then give a little bit more and a little bit more.
Yep.
But this time it feels like the people are not staying on that program,
Right.
and it's just rising up
Yep.
more,
Yep.
more, more,
Yep.
and there's just going to be a groundswell to where they cannot control it any longer.
Absolutely. So let's listen to this young guy here.
First video. I'm here to tell you what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I'm trying to explain the best of my abilities. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not making this story out for clout or fame. I just want to tell you what happened to me and my family. And I know some people are not going to believe this, but each person is different.
I don't know where he's at, but I can
So
hear
this is
people in
what
the
happened to
background.
me. Keep in mind, this is midnight and I'm fixing a truck in my backyard. At this point, I'm only with my brother and I hear something fall from the sky.
Listen to this.
I turn around, the only thing I see is a big light falling from the sky, and moments after, I feel a big impact and a bang, sort of like a big impact fall.
He's going to show you the body cam video.
And me and my brother looked at each other, and we were scared. But when the impact happened, it was sort of like a shock wave,
This is pretty
like
cool.
an
what he's
out of
about to
body
do.
experience. So to say, when I tried to look at the object, it was all blurry. Not my vision, but only the backyard area. And I
So I
hear
wanna stop
thousands
that.
of footsteps around.
It sounds like he's saying, I didn't catch that the first time I watched it. It sounded like he's saying, I was trying to look at it and it was affecting my vision.
Like distorted, like
Yeah, like what the other guy was saying.
the other guy.
It was like he was saying it was my vision but blurry and I couldn't see
I mean,
it.
it is interesting that he would have that same
Yeah, it is.
comment. Sure, someone could have told him to say that, but he does seem pretty genuine. But
Yeah.
Me and my analytical mind,
Yeah.
I would like to say, yeah, I'd like for a language and a
Right,
body
right.
language expert to get a hold of this and diagnose it. But
All right, let's continue.
Me, and maybe a couple seconds later, the blurriness was gone.
Wow.
And here's the footage of the body, the police officer's body cam, and here's the object I'm referring to. The
Now
light.
watch this object fall out of the sky.
Video.
You see it. You'll see it behind the sky in the sky. You'll see it. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's obvious. This. Okay, now
Here's a ring camera video.
Listen
you
to
can
this
hear
sound.
the bang. This is around the neighborhood. So here's the video.
it's close to his house. What in the world? What in the world?
So when that happened, the only thing I can see in the backyard is a tall creature, probably around 8-10 feet tall, very thin. So I called my dad. He went to the backyard, and he saw the same thing, the same creature I saw. He told me to go inside the house. At this point, we all freaking out, me and my family. And here's the video where we were in the backyard area. You cannot see it too good, but on camera, but it's there. Here's the video.
¡Ay! ¡Permisor!
I'm gonna stop this. I've watched this thing. I can't see nothing on this one. I don't see any kind of. Is he saying that the craft is supposed to be on this? I don't know.
That's what I asked you. How big is the yard?
Yeah.
¡Cáelo, Cherro!
They're afraid to go in the backyard.
Moments after the video,
Okay,
me
now
and my
watch
brother
this.
went to go pick up my tools. Then my brother calls me, and he told me shakingly, "Look behind the forklift." So I look.
The forklift.
Keep in mind, I'm facing the forklift, and then I see the alien creature. So when I saw it, it was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. It was a gray, greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. Like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind, I'm staring at him, and I look at his whole body, and he has a weird looking
unreal.
feet and a big face, and eyes, and you can see a big mouth. And I could hear his loud, deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving.
Good Lord. I mean, this dude's telling the truth. Can you imagine a kid?
No, my mind is racing with so many thoughts right now.
He's hearing this creature breathing.
He would just stare at me. Seconds later, I could start moving again. And I start running towards the house. That's when I call 911, and here's the 911 call.
Now, we're going to try to fast forward because we
There's
already
like
heard
an
this.
8-foot person beside it,
We'll play.
and another
we'll play.
one's inside, and it has big
Because
eyes
some of
and
you
looking at us.
might
And
not
it's still
heard.
there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually weird.
So
He's
there's
calm on the call as he
there's
is on the
two
video.
people
Yeah.
or two subjects.
This dude is calm, and I'm watching the live chat. Many people, now of course, I'm sure that everybody don't consider themselves to be experts. Everybody's saying this kid seems genuine. Everybody's saying I'm
Wow.
not detecting.
Okay.
I'm not detecting. I'm looking at his eyes. I'm looking at his mannerisms. People are all up there saying I'm not detecting this. This kid saw something.
That are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like
Okay.
8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Wow, 100% not human. Now, this right here is what's. We're gonna show you one more little bit of this.
I'm
This
waiting
is
for the
awesome.
police to come, and you could hear footsteps in the backyard
That's
area.
what I wanted to get to right there.
Yeah, let's
And
back that up.
Waiting for the police to come, and you could hear footsteps in the backyard area. And a loud whispering, like you could hear whisperings. We were in the living room area, and you could hear footsteps on the roof.
That's the part I wanted
So-
you to get to right there. This made me think of the movie Signs, which I know that's a whole different rabbit trail to get on. They're on top of the house. They're behind the forklift. You can see his stomach moving. You can hear him breathing. The part that he said, did he say the word paralyzed? Where he said, I couldn't move for a
and
moment
then,
or something?
Then he said I could move again. Then after a few seconds, I could move again. And he said I could hear whispering. I could hear them talking like they were plotting what they were going to do.
We waited a little bit for the police. When they arrived, they told me I told them what I saw, and they were kind of freaked out. Here's the body cam of the officer.
All right, I'm going to stop this because all this from this point forward is the police.
Right. So let's go back. This happened May 1st.
Yeah.
Correct?
Right, May 1st.
All right. So I don't know if they talk to anybody or do anything, but he creates this YouTube channel, which he calls Alien Society 51. There's only one video on here unless he's posted something today that we haven't seen.
He said he's going to do a part 2.
Okay. So he now has over 600,000 views and 12,000 subscribers. But I want to know what took you so long to decide. Was it after Mr. Grush came forward and you just felt the freedom or the necessity to create this channel and start talking about this? Because this has been a rage ever since it dropped.
Well, let me say this. I'm not trying to defend this kid, but he's making it in response to the local television channel releasing this.
Okay.
The local television channel did not release this until just a couple of days ago.
Okay.
And then he blew up and went viral. And then he said he made this video to explain to the world. He said, because the whole world's talking about my family, I want to let y'all know what it was about. So the local, and it's the same local news with a guy that covers the aliens.
George Knapp.
George Knapp. It's his station.
I did hear that.
It was his station. So
if you don't know George Knapp, he is the man who brought Bob Lazar forward in the late 80s, early 90s. And Bob Lazar is the person who basically let us know about Area 51 and all of that. That's when all that broke loose, is way back in the early 90s. So
yes, Rick said, get some water, quick. Signs. He's talking about the movie Signs.
Swing, Meryl, swing.
Swing away. Okay, so but watch. I want to show you this one last thing here because this is what you were talking about, and this is the tail end of the officer when he's finally leaving, and he says, "Hey, if this happens again, do not call us." And he says, "Just shoot it." I mean, the guy was freaking out, and I wish I could find there it is. I want to go to this because this is, I believe, is this the one where it shows the circle? We got to. Was that on the video?
Circle on the ground.
Was that on the video? Or was that a picture? I can't remember.
It may have been a picture. There's just
there it is right there. There it is. I think it is. All right, now watch this. What he says here. He says, "Look on the ground and see the perfect circle of where this was." So it crashed, and then it's gone. By the time, watch this.
The backyard to investigate, but Metro.
So they went in the backyard, and one of the officers pointed at the floor, and it was a perfect circle. Here's a photo of the circle I'm referring to.
This is the backyard.
So he said the officer.
The officer pointed it out.
Keep in mind, 2 officers came in my house, and one of them started running to his car, driving around the neighborhood, asking passing cars if they saw a light.
What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they
This
saw.
is the local station I'm
normally
saying
discounted as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
Goosebumps and freaking out. He started investigating that he told me his partner, she saw a light falling from the sky. He told me he believes me because her partner reported that she saw the same light as me. Now we're walking the front yard.
This is when you're talking about
Then
praying.
the other officer came here. Here's a video of him talking to my family.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
Now watch this.
Moments before they left, one of the officers told me, if I see the thing again, to don't call him, just shoot him. And you can hear in the video. Here's the video.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So they left, and we went
Here it
inside
is.
the house, and we started praying.
So they left, and we went. I feel the Holy Ghost right now. They left and went in the house to start praying. Because here's the truth. A lot of weird stuff is happening.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, people that ain't even been in church are going to start praying. Because
so.
it's because of some of this stuff that's going
And
down.
we're bringing this forth and we're talking about this tonight, but truly we have as many questions as you guys out there.
Exactly.
And you don't want to think that this is actually real, but the kid, he seems pretty genuine.
Yeah.
So there it is.
So we're going to continue in the paranormal because So look, we're talking about UFOs, and every week we're talking about AI. And I got a feeling that the reason AI is rising up at the point that it's rising up now is because it's all part of this demonic plan. And I want you to know that you need to, if you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, you need to do that because I'm about to start rolling out some episodes where I'm going to make some shows where I'm going to tell you what I believe aliens are. I'm going to tell you what demons are. I'm going to tell you what aliens are, what I think aliens are, not what they are, what I think they are, what the origins are. And so forth. We're going to be handling a lot of this stuff outside of Monday night. We're going to do special programs, so make sure you be looking for that. But Sandy, while all this is going on, AI is going crazy. We have so many AI stories tonight. And then of all weeks, for Apple to release their newest product, they release it this week. And I love the title of this article, Don't Get Lured into the Matrix. Who needs climate lockdowns if everyone is trapped in the metaverse? Now, remember the metaverse was introduced by Zuckerberg and Facebook because it was like you put these goggles on and you create the little avatars and you go shopping and all this kind of stuff. But Apple just said, let me show you what we're doing. Okay. So they just took it to another level. They released something called Vision Pro, Sandy. Look at this. First of all, if you think this looks cool, you have serious problems. I mean, I cannot imagine. The video, I watched the video of this on Apple. This lady's doing laundry. She's walking around her house with these things on. She's listening to music. She's watching her kids with this on. And somebody calls her, and she just swipes and turns her living room into a screen, starts talking to her mother and all this while she's folding laundry. This thing they don't show you, it comes off their head that far. It's literally, if you do the profile, it's this far. It's that thick. And they're walking around with it. Okay, but this is the first version of it. Right. But they're rolling it out. Yeah. It's called Vision Pro.
And it will become more sleek,
yeah.
smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a prototype, like you said.
And just a couple of weeks after Neuralink was approved, Elon Musk company for the brain chip. Let's think about all of this coming together, y'all.
Yes. It's almost like it's been orchestrated line upon line. We're going to do this first, then we're going to do this. So we can mold the minds and influence and prepare people with all this predictive programming, which, by the way, those goggles actually look familiar, and we'll touch on that in a few moments when we get into the next phase of this story.
Extremely familiar.
Right.
Okay. So Google Glass, if you remember that, brought in something called augmented reality. And then, of course, there's the VR, virtual reality. And this takes it to another league. You put Neuralink, you've got a brain chip, then you got goggles. You see where they're trying to take our world.
Yes.
Soma, if you've ever heard of this writing that came out in 1932, it's been made into a movie and a series over time called The Brave New World, along the same lines of 1984, but this was more of a futuristic dystopian area.
1984 was actually released in 1948,
right,
correct? So
right.
this was many years before that.
So there was this thing called The Brave New World that was written in 1932. And in this book, you're going to talk about programming, there's something called Soma. Soma was a substance featured in Huxley's dystopian novel, Brave New World. That's a powerful government-issued drug.
Yep. Come on.
Almost like a wah, wah. It was a powerful government-issued drug used to control the population, offering a pleasant, hallucinogenic escape from reality without any negative physical side effects, thereby keeping society docile and content.
That makes me think of a certain person here at church when they say to you, "You didn't take your pill today, did you?"
Thank you, Miss Ruby. If you're out there.
You need to take your pill.
She told me at the end of service yesterday she was glad I didn't take my pill. And look, but by the way, people that have no idea what we're talking about, I'm not taking pills. I'm not on medication. That's a joke, okay? That's what she says when I act crazy at church that I didn't take my medicine. Technocrats believe the UBI will emancipate an increasingly unemployable.
Okay, we need to talk about UBI, Universal Basic Income.
Right.
That's what that means.
Because people don't want to work. They want to sit at home and just do nothing. So they believe that UBI, Universal Basic Income, will emancipate an increasingly unemployable rabble. Of course, this is commentary, but it's talking about people that are just lazy. And says that this will create this world that was in this novel. Okay. Now, Sandy pointed out something. Let's go back one more time and look at Apple's new product, Vision Pro. By the way, those goggles cost $3,500. Okay. $3,500. Now, here's what it looks familiar as. Now, I have muted this. And I was going to play it, but I'm not going to be able to play it because I realized as soon as I was getting ready to do this, I will get copyright striked. So I may still, even without the audio. But I want to show you, and we're going to comment.
I think you said 5.
Yeah, 5 years ago. This is the trailer for a movie called Ready Player One.
I'm sure many of you have seen. This is a futuristic, was it 2046?
Something like that, yeah. And
future dystopian type society.
Where there's nowhere to go, everything. By the way, thank you for that super sticker, Josh Bartlett. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Josh.
So you see this. you're right. There's nowhere to go. That's what he's saying. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. Ohio, that's supposed to be in Columbus, Ohio. In what year? 2045. Okay, what just happened? Okay, sorry. All right, here we go.
This virtual world.
So the virtual world's called Oasis. And when you go into Oasis, they become these characters. They are augmented reality. He's still in his house. He's still in that little trailer. Yep. But he's able to fight. He's able to win competitions. He's able to travel around the world. Now, does that not look familiar?
Yep.
Look, you can see the eye. It looks just like it, Sandy.
It does.
You can see the eyes going through it.
Yep.
Go to screenshot this and then go to Apple's site and compare.
So when we were doing,
they are the exact.
When we were doing pre-show today, you were showing me, those goggles, and we looked at this trailer for this movie from 5 years ago, and I'm thinking, was this just pure predictive programming from 5 years ago?
Wow.
It's,
thank you, Regina, for that super sticker.
Yes, thank you. But you're right. It's just, whoa, this is a lot.
It's eerie how
it is eerie.
Exactly the same, y'all. So let me just fast forward here. And of course, it shows, that they go into this world and look, there's always the guy that's always creates it looks like that. So this guy, if you've seen the movie, I've seen the movie, he's created this. And in it, he's trying to get people to find this Easter egg so that they can own the computer, be the richest person in the world, own the program.
They gain control of this.
And it's this hope that we'll break out of this, that it's really all been a lie, because imagine this. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, think of that super sticker, Katie. The Bartlett family is y'all are just blessing us tonight.
Awesome.
All the Bartletts are blessing us
so
tonight.
Much.
What amazing.
Yeah.
But guess what, Sandy? Because you haven't seen the rest of the movie. Spoiler alert, sorry to have to tell you this, but at the end, really, there was a bunch of rich, elite people who were actually living a really great high life, owned the money that people were paying to buy this. And this world that they were told that was really destroyed, that didn't really exist, there was really still a real world out there. But they had convinced the commoners that there was no hope without the virtual reality.
To keep him in this weird bondage.
Wow.
And oppression.
That is insane. I'm telling you, when I saw the headset from Apple, I said, Sandy,
get in here and look at this.
This is Ready Player One. This is it. Because when you look at it and you see their eyes, it's the exact picture that froze
you can see them. And then I said to you, this reminds me of something that our friend, Mr. Yuval Noah Harari said.
Because this was a question that was asked during the WAC lockdown. He's talking about the world that's coming through AI and all of this. And the guy that's interviewing, and by the way, Noah is the short guy, and the guy that's interviewing him and said, well, if AI is going to take over the world and take all of our jobs, will there be any use for humans?
Yeah.
This was his response.
What do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
Need some Soma up in here.
What?
For this brave new world. Wow.
Keep them happy when AI takes over
he just
with drugs and computer games.
Does not even mind at all saying the quiet part out loud. That's how emboldened they are, and we've talked about that before. It's so late in the game, we're not even going to control our mouths anymore.
And we call this the metaverse.
What you guys do in here?
Pretty much everything that you would do in a real world.
Pretty much everything you do in the real world. The crazy thing is, people are excited about this. Yes. There is a generation of people that are so excited about, I wouldn't have to leave my house. I could go to France one day, and the next day I could be on a cruise ship.
Remember this buying real estate in the metaverse?
Yeah. Oh, listen, I'm not trying to be too critical, but I guess I am. There's some pretty major churches that planted metaverse campuses, Sandy.
Yes, I know.
Campuses. They planted church campuses in the metaverse. And when they would welcome them on their live stream, welcome everybody and welcome those in the metaverse, and they would go and there'd be a little cartoon dude holding the microphone going, welcome to the metaverse. Come get some coffee and donuts. But Sandy, it's all just computers. It's not going to go beyond computers. Everybody freaks out about Terminator. The thing about Terminator, nobody's going to accept the words of a robot that looks like a piece of metal with no skin, because robots don't have skin. Oh, no. Oh, no. This just come out, breaking news. Researchers are revealing, this is courtesy of our great friend Ricky Scaparo from End Time Headline.
Thank you, Ricky.
Robots could go full Terminator after scientists have successfully creating realistic, keyword, self-healing skin.
Wow.
Robots could soon be cloaked into human-like synthetic skin, similar to the cyborg assassin of Terminator movie franchise. According to Fox News, researchers have been studying and developing convincing skin materials for robots for years. Stanford professor Zihan Boa touting the first multi-layer self-healing synthetic electronic skin way back in 2012. More than a decade later, fellow researchers and him have taken their studies even further into the future. Layers of synthetic skin that can now self-recognize, align with each other when injured, simultaneously allowing the skin to continue functioning without healing while healing. We've achieved what we believe to be the first demonstration of a multi-layer thin film sensor that automatically realigns during healing. This is a critical step towards mimicking human skin, which has multi-layers to reassemble correctly during the healing process. I cannot take it.
Well,
what in the world?
We can thank those little nanobots for that, probably.
Unbelievable.
All that carbon nanotube technology.
Do we need to go back and watch every science fiction movie ever made since our childhood so we'll know what's coming?
And let's realize the first Terminator movie was in 1984.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
I didn't know it was that
Somebody
long.
check me on that. See if the first Terminator was 1984. What? I promise you, I'm very close if it wasn't in 1984. But look at everything that was laid out from the get-go in that first movie.
Yep.
Skynet and the dystopian society that people were living in, and they're underground and they're running for their lives. They're running from the robots and from the technology that want to take them out.
Let's not forget, China actually calls their AI program Skynet.
Hello.
As a mock and to fear in the rest of the world, I guess. They literally call their AI program Skynet. Yep. Unbelievable. Look, I want to read this last line to you, Sandy, here. This is unbelievable in this same article. Talking about the skin, the prototype featured in the study was designed to sense pressure. Quote, it is soft and stretchable, but if you puncture it, slice it, or cut it, each layer will selectively heal with itself to restore the overall function. Just like real skin. Can I tell you something? That ain't just like real skin. I'm sorry. The difference is if you cut my skin, I got to put a Band-Aid on it. I got to get stitches. I got to wrap it up.
And you need that big element called time to heal it. 1984, CJ says. Thank you. Yeah. So we go on into the other iterations of the same movie.
Sandy.
When we had... What?
Terminator came out in 1984. Think about what we just said. 1984.
Yes.
Keep going.
So the very next movie, or 2 movies later, we had the molten metal guy that could, transform in... what words am I looking for here?
I mean, just regenerate. He would regenerate. He was blown up. He's just doing this, walking. All of a sudden, he keeps walking.
Yes.
He's back.
You can blow his head off, and 3 steps later, he's back to his original form. So
that's the difference. That ain't human skin. I'm sorry.
Right. But listen, I think it's just another facet of this technology we're talking about here in modern day, regenerating yourself. Regenerate this entity, whatever it is. Regenerating itself.
Absolutely. If you haven't hit that like button yet, hit it. Hit that like button. Subscribe.
Even if you don't like what we're talking about,
just help us out. But by the way,
hit the like button.
If you've already hit the like button, don't hit it again.
Don't hit it again.
Because if you hit it again, you unlike it. Okay. All right, we're moving on. We're having
Okay.
fun tonight. Because here's the next story. Because they're not satisfied to control just what you eat and all this. They want to make a new religion.
Yes.
We covered this a couple of weeks ago. The guy on the left there is our friend again, Harari. He said that he believed that one day AI would create its own holy book. Well, today it's coming out this week. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That the World Economic Forum, our friends in Davos, Switzerland, that want to eat the bugs.
Yes.
They don't want to eat the bugs. They want you to eat the bugs. Yeah. And that evil-looking James Bond villain guy on the other side is none other than Klaus Schwab, a top official with the World Economic Forum, which is started and owned by Klaus Schwab, and that's his right-hand man, that's his false prophet, if you will, has called for religious scripture to be, quote, rewritten by artificial intelligence to create a globalized, quote, new Bible. Yuval Noah Harari, the senior advisor to the World Economic Forum and its chairman, Klaus Schwab, argues that using AI to replace scriptures will create unified religions that are actually correct. Harari, an influential author and professor, made the call while giving a talk on the future of humanity. According to Harari, the power of AI can be harnessed and used to reshape spirituality into the WEF's global vision of equity and inclusivism. It is the first technology ever that can create new ideas. You know, the printing press, radio, television, they broadcast. They spread the ideas created by the human brain, the human mind. They cannot create a new idea. You know, Gutenberg printed the Bible in the middle of the 15th century. The printing press printed as many copies of the Bible as Gutenberg instructed it. But it did not create a single new page. It had no new ideas of its own about the Bible. Is it good? Is it bad? How to interpret this? How to interpret that? Harari then revealed that he and his allies at the WEF have a solution to the supposed problems he just highlighted. AI can create new ideas, and it can even write a new Bible. And he closes by saying, throughout history, religions dreamt about having a book written by a superhuman intelligence by a non-human entity. Unbelievable that this man is being interviewed by some of the highest reporters in the world as a voice in this moment.
Yep, clearly just overlooking that do not add to or take away from.
Yeah, because it said if you do add to or take away from the Word of God, the plagues that are mentioned in the book of Revelation will be added to you. But Sandy, that is fringe. That is on the internet. That is people, atheists, people don't believe in God. I mean, not church-going
messing
people.
with people's minds.
Not church-going people.
Yeah.
Sandy, church-going people would not go to church.
They would not submit themselves to this type of, no way. Except for
this past Sunday.
Yeah.
This past Sunday, yesterday, hundreds of people gathered to attend a church service generated by Chat GPT. AI. The artificial intelligence chatbot asked the believers in the fully packed St. Paul's Church in the Bavarian town of Fürth to rise from the pews and praise the Lord. Well, thank God. Thank God for Chat GPT telling us to get our praise on.
Did they specify which Lord?
Great point. So the Chat GPT chatbot, personified by an avatar of a bearded black man on a huge screen above the altar. He was in the altars, didn't he? Began preaching. This avatar generated by Chat GPT began preaching to the more than 300 people who showed up.
This was actually on a Friday morning.
Sorry, that's right, Friday morning. Because I just thought everybody goes to church on Sunday. That's why I said Friday morning. You're right. Friday morning for an experimental Lutheran church service almost entirely generated by AI. Now listen to the preacher. Listen to the preacher. I'm going to try to do it in my AI preacher voice. Okay. Here we go. Dear friends, it is an honor for me to stand before you and preach to you as the first artificial intelligence at this year's convention of Protestants in Germany. The avatar said with expressionless face and monotone voice. The 40-minute service, including the sermon, the prayers, and the music, were all created by ChatGPT and Johannes Simmerlein, a theologian of what? I don't know. And a philosopher at the University of Vienna. Quote, I conceived the service, but actually I rather accompanied it because I would say about 98% comes from the machine. The AI church service was one of hundreds of events at the Convention of Protestants of the Bavarian towns of Nuremberg and neighboring Fürth, and it drew some immense interest that people formed a long queue outside the 19th century neo-Gothic building an hour before it even began. This year's gathering was taking place from Wednesday to Sunday under the motto, now is the time. Wow.
Well, I know what I'm thinking, but I want to know what you're thinking about the actual event and the implications.
Me personally or the
You.
live chat? Me.
You.
I absolutely think that this is exactly what I'm teaching right now, verse by verse on Wednesday night, when the false prophet, listen to me, go back and check me if you don't believe this is true, and go back and watch 2 weeks ago in that teaching, because I'd say something you probably never heard before. It's in Scripture, but you've read right over it. It says the false prophet asked the world to create an image of the beast. It asked the world. We've taught it for years that he made it. No, he calls on the world to make it. ChatGPT is the technology of a conglomerate of people around the world. So here we have a preacher preaching in a digital form, the music, the prayers,
Yes.
everything being generated by a code of ones and zeros.
Yes.
And this preacher embracing it, saying, this is awesome. I didn't have to do anything. And we had over 300 people.
Yeah.
But here's what I want to say.
All these people were queuing. That means you're lining up outside.
Can't wait.
Clamoring, waiting to get in. This to me is a gateway. Okay, I lure you in with something that is genuine. Say we are presenting the actual word of God and we are singing songs that you've sung before.
Yeah.
How quickly could that turn over into embedding false things?
Okay, let me
changing wording.
Absolutely. Think about this. The very first thing that ever happened that caused man to sin was exactly what you just said. Because the devil knows the word of God better than all of us put together.
Yes.
And the serpent had this conversation with Eve. Go back and read your Bible. And the Bible says, he said, why don't you eat of this tree? And she said, God said that if we eat of this tree or touch or eat of this tree, we will surely die. And watch what the devil said. The serpent said, is that what he really said? Here's what he meant. Because he realized that when Eve misquoted just one little thing, number one, big misquote, is that he did not say you could not touch it. In fact, he implied he wanted you to touch it and take care of it, you just couldn't eat from it. But when she said one little word, but you know what? 99% of the people in the church have no idea that God did not say you can't touch it. So that's how quickly people can be deceived. And that's what you're talking about. When you got artificial intelligence saying, well, you know, John said this in the book of Revelation, and 3 words get changed, and that's it. All of a sudden, these people who are so excited to receive, it begins imprinted.
Well, I'm seeing in the chat some comments about, they're going to come for the Bibles. And I believe they will one day. And that's why it's so important to have the written word. Because we're so dependent. And yes, it's convenient to have all of our digital devices and so forth. But how easy is it for AI or whatever, whoever, to go in to our device, to some online format and change the word of God, to change any document.
Yes.
And if we don't have, the hard copy, your Bible, your reliable printed Bible.
Yes.
And it's not written on your heart. You don't know it.
Absolutely.
You don't have it memorized.
Say it.
Certainly, things could be changed and we could be deceived.
And to close this out, I want to show you this one thing that this preacher, this guy needs to turn his collar in, or whatever, he's wearing a collar. He says, quote, "I told the artificial intelligence, we're at the church congress. You are a preacher. What would a church service look like?" He also asked for psalms to be included, as well as prayers and a blessing at the end. By the way, man ain't got the right to tell anybody they're a preacher of anything, let alone a machine. That comes from God.
Exactly.
So he just went ahead and said, "I'm God. I've just made you preacher." But I love what this part. I love it, but I hate it. This is unbelievable. So when it's over with, they had a talk. The preacher in the chat GPT, he said, he told him, "You end up with a pretty solid church service."
You did a pretty good job there, bud.
Sounding almost surprised by the success of his experiment. Indeed, the believers of the church listened attentively to the artificial intelligence preached about leaving the past behind, focusing on the challenges of the present, overcoming fear of death, and never losing trust in Jesus Christ. So the chat GPT took them back to Jesus at the end. But
how easily and quickly that could change in the future.
Don't you remember Jesus said, "Even the demons believe and tremble."
Come on.
They know who Jesus is, and they know how to name drop. You got a lot of preachers out there that drop the name Jesus that ain't even saved, let alone called to preach the gospel. Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Sandy, well, I know you're getting tired. I'm getting tired. Everybody's getting tired, but we ain't through. We got two more quick things to show. Because in the culture that we live in, people are gonna be shocked by this. We're gonna shift over from our paranormal background back to our regular background, because this one right here is mind-boggling. Because when you think about all these people that say, "I'm a dude, I want to be a girl, I'm a girl, I want to be a dude," and then you also think of, all seriousness, you also think of couples that have been told that they can't have children. You may or may not know that this is happening. This is unreal. This is, saying headline, "World's first baby is born from a transplanted uterus implanted by a
robot."
So I guess we are still in that segment. Planted by a robot, meaning humans could not have done this intricate surgery, is what the article goes on to say. And it brings hope to tens of thousands of American women who lack a womb. So on that side, the compassionate side of it, you're thinking that would just be incredible. That would be an incredible thing for women who have just no hope. You don't have a womb, you can't have a baby. But they're saying that robots now, the intelligence of robots are already to the place that there is not just an experiment. A baby has been born. How is this not on all the news? A baby has been born from a transplanted uterus. A baby boy carried in a uterus implanted in his mother by a robot was born in a world's first. The youngster, who has not been named, weighed 6 pounds 13 ounces when he was born via C-section in Sweden last month. Both the child and his 35-year-old mother are doing well. The pregnancy was made possible, get this, when a family member agreed to donate their uterus to the mother, who then had a fertilized egg implanted into it via IVF. The case marks the first time that robots have been used for the procedure. Gives hopes to tens of thousands of American women. And I don't want to make light of this, because I'd love to just say that's what this is about, but I know how this is going to be twisted. I know that, because I've already seen some videos of, trans men saying that they one day want to be able to have a child, and they're probably looking at this and thinking that this is where it's going. And there is people that's going to try to do that. But I want to say this, but for the women that could not have a child and could not have a womb, this is incredible.
It is.
And I hope that this works out, that the miracle of life can come to them. But how amazing is this, that this is just another thing of them saying, this is why we need AI, this is why we need robots, because they can do things that we would never be able to do. A human hand could not be that precise. So we're going to say, well, wow, if this incredible thing can be done, then why can't we just relinquish everything to the robots?
Well, that is going to be dangerous to go down that road, because how long until possibly they decide that they don't have a use for us anymore.
Right, exactly. Well, speaking of how things are shifting, this is our last article of tonight. This is very alarming because if you remember, we reported several weeks ago, and we've reported several times that several preachers have been arrested in Canada. And people would blow me up in the comments. I had a YouTube short, a little reel that I did talking about the preacher that was arrested in Canada. And I mean, some of the most hateful comments.
Are you talking about Pastor Archer?
Yes.
Paul
yes,
Lasky?
Yes. And just hateful people. I mean, it's just a mind-boggling to me that the ones that preach love and acceptance are some of the meanest people. Not everybody, but I'm talking about the ones. That's the kind of response that I get from people. That I'm the hate monger. That I'm this horrible person. And the things they say are horrible. But then I started getting comments like this. People from America was saying, yeah, that's Canada. That's Canada. Canada is to the north of us, but that's Canada. That would not happen because they don't have the kind of freedom of religion that we have. Well, there's this. This happened this week, ladies and gentlemen. Christian preacher arrested for quoting Bible verses at a crowd gathered for Pennsylvania Pride event. A Christian street preacher was arrested for protesting LGBTQ pride event only for the charges to be thrown out when the local DA agreed that detaining him was a violation of his First Amendment rights. By the way, the article explains, and you'll see in the video, that the only reason they did release him was because of the video, because they were going to try to trump up something, make something upon him, but the video showed they didn't do anything wrong. Damon Atkins, 41, was seen on camera holding a sign at the pride event on June 3rd in the city of Reading, Pennsylvania, that simply read, "Jesus said go and sin no more." That's all it said. Quoting Bible verses at the marchers who were on the other side of the street, not even on the same side of the street. They're on one sidewalk. There's the street, the two-lane, and then they're on the people are on the other side of the street. Police came over and confronted Atkins, who pointed out that he was on public property. The Daily Mail reported that the officer can be seen telling him, while it is public property, he should let them have their day and respect it, referring to those celebrating pride. Atkins could be heard yelling, "Know who's cheering for us. The people are in hell. So do you, and I'm going to do me." So you go do you, and I'm going to do me. And let's just watch this real quick, and then we'll close the program. But you need to see this happen in your country.
A Christian man in Pennsylvania was arrested at a pride rally in Reading, Pennsylvania, in less than a minute. It's really shocking video when you see it, and we're talking now to the man who was arrested. His name is Damon Atkins. He joins me now. Damon, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about this because it's really, honestly, it's just really remarkable how quickly all of this unfolds. And I want to start here by just watching this clip because it all happens so fast. And in the clip, you can hear Damon going back and forth with the officer. And remember, he has literally just arrived. Watch.
Looks like some more men just showed up to support us.
Let me stop and tell you this real quick. The guy that's talking was just driving through with his family. He was just going somewhere, and he saw this. He got out, he gets on this side of the road, and he's just standing over there filming, quoting scriptures. He had already been harassed by the police, and that's what he's talking about before this part happens. So he's telling about how he was harassed and threatened to be arrested, the guy with the phone. And while he's doing it, he says, "Hey, looks like another guy just walked up to support us. Praise the Lord." He's holding up a sign. He's praising the Lord over there. So that's what he meant by the guy that gets arrested just walked up. He's only been there for a minute.
Cop's going to give him a hard time.
They're nowhere near. They're on the other side of the road.
God, let them have this is public property with respect. Oh, I'm respecting it. Let them have their bed. You know who's cheering for us? The people that are in hell.
Yeah.
So you do you, and I'm going to do me.
Now watch this.
Public property.
It's all about offense. It's all about pride, not the pride direct, but I'm talking the spirit of pride. So that cop was offended. That cop was having a power thing, whatever. And so I want you to see how he gets triggered. When he gets triggered, the guy, he's only been there for a minute. This is a preacher. This is the United States of America. and he yells the word God. And when he yells the word God, this is a demon manifest. Watch how this policeman runs to him from the word God.
You. God is not.
That's it. He said God. That's all he said.
And there he goes. And Damon finds himself in.
You must be born
So
again.
I wanted to talk to Damon here.
Go and sin no more.
About what happened and what was said there. I mean, there you can see in the video. It is very.
Now, I'm not going to show the whole video. You can watch it for yourself. But here's the thing. They would not even let him take his backpack off. The guy that's in the brown shirt was with him. He said, hey, man, can I get his backpack? Can I get his backpack? That police handcuffed him with his backpack, carries him across the street, puts him down on his knees, will not take the cuffs off to take the backpack off, disengages the straps instead of just taking the cuffs off, and throws, I saw the video, throws the backpack into the street to the guy. Could have broke a laptop, whatever was in it, and puts him in a cop car and takes him to jail for preaching the gospel in the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're talking about. Yes. The spiritual condition of this world is at a level that none of us has ever seen. That's why aliens are being talked about. That's why demons are being talked about. That's why pride is being talked about. That's why they're coming after our children. That's why all this stuff is happening. Why? You asked me what my thought of all this was, artificial intelligence preachers and all of this. It's because the devil knows he is running out of time.
Yep.
This thing is winding down.
It is. It's winding down, but it's ramping up.
It's ramping up. Yeah. But I see that Eddie Haskell says, which, by the way, I love the name Eddie Haskell, your screen name. The cop should be fired. This is what was said. The people were protesting, saying to the police department there in Reading, Pennsylvania, what is going to be done to this police officer, and nothing. The police come out and said, sorry for the mistake. We'll try to do better next time. Nothing. And did you see? Listen, I love this guy. I love the police. We support the police all the time. We were always going to err on the side of supporting law enforcement, first responders. But that dude right there, that was a demon that manifested. Ooh. Okay, let's just tell the truth. You could see him staring at him. He was just staring at him, waiting. And he goes, God said, and when he said, God said, you could hear the police go, that's it. That's what he said as he's screaming. And arrest a man for holding a sign saying, go and sin no more, which, if I read my Bible correctly, was the words of Jesus. And on his shirt, it says, you must be born again. If I read my Bible, was the words of Jesus. So you have a street preacher who was on the street for 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, across the street.
Right.
Not on the same side, holding a sign and wearing a shirt in America, was arrested. That's why we need the big picture.
Yep.
That's why we do what we do, Sandy.
We need to see this. People need to see this. You're not going to see it very many places.
No, you're not going to see it very many places. That's why we need you to support us. Now, Sandy, some people have already checked out. They're like, I come for a big announcement. And I've been watching you for an hour and 48 minutes, and there ain't no big announcement. You keep talking about robots. You keep talking about all this kind of stuff. What's the big announcement? All right, for those that are still with us, we got a huge, huge announcement to make. All right? Okay, so you know about our book. You know, we've already showed you that our book is coming out July 1st. It's shipping. I see greatness in you. You can go to LarryRagland.com, LarryRagland.tv, and you can pre-order it. But while we were there at the NRB, we met a gentleman. Actually, we had known him before. We'd met him one other time before, and he searched us out and was there at the book signing and was there on a mission. And he may be watching right now. If he is, you know who you are, and we love you and appreciate you. But he looked at me and he said, and I'm going to go as quick as I can. He said, do you remember me? And I did remember him, but I couldn't remember his name. Well, long story short, he's a television producer who produces a very well-known television show that we love and enjoy watching. It is incredibly done, very well done. And he said, I was looking for you because I need to tell you that I have been watching your show. I've been watching what you and Sandy are doing, and I need to meet with you. Well, we met with him. We had a long meeting, personal meeting with him while we were there. and we've had several Zoom meetings since then. So, Sandy, we are here to announce that it looks like everything is lining up, that we are about to, I can't believe I'm saying this, we're about to finally, after years of praying, in fact, I've done moved on, thought this would never happen, we are about to go on Christian television, and in addition to YouTube. And we will be starting small, but when I say starting small, we have all this gentleman who is going to be our producer has already talked to several television stations, and all of them, we have sent them samples of this show, of interviews that I've done, and our program, Bible study, and even some preaching videos. They've watched all of them, and several of the studios have come forth and said, we want him and his wife, and we want him to have a show. We need to, but we can't go ahead and agree to a contract until we have actual shows produced in a studio and so forth. These are not studio quality shows, obviously. So it's going to cost money, but it's nothing like it used to be. I mean, it used to be you want to be on Christian television and reach thousands, if not millions of people. It's going to be millions of dollars. It does cost thousands of dollars, but not as much as what you would think. So I'm not going to say the stations, but a couple of the stations that have shown extreme interest that looks really good is going to have a potential audience of several million, 40 to 50 million potential audience. But he said actual viewers in the tens of thousands per program. Are every one of these channels have legitimate numbers of tens of thousands of people watching live while it's on there. And he said, so think about it this way. He said, think about if you were to rent the Superdome or some facility that was packed out with 10 to 20,000 people in there. He said, think of it this way. And you had the opportunity to spend some money and a budget, and they were all there on purpose, chose to be there to listen to the message of the gospel. Yeah. And you had to spend some money, and they all came, they all were ready, and you walked out on the platform, and they were ready to hear the message of the gospel. He said that's what Christian television is, because when people tune into Christian television, 90% of them are not just browsing unbelievers. Some of them are, but most of them love Christian programming. They are there. They are ready. They love your show, and they're ready. So this is the opportunity that's been given to us, and we are excited about it. Now, I told Sandy when we prayed about it, we talked about it, we've had at-length discussions about it. We're not going into debt. We're not going to borrow money to do this. If God's got his hand in this, it's going to be done. So here's what we're saying. Okay, and a lot of you, it's going to be a shocking number, what I'm about to tell you. But for some people that's had history in it, you're going to know that that's not a shocking number. This guy really believes in us, and he has made a commitment to us to produce a top quality television program, which will also feed this show, and this show will also feed the television program as well. And we will build the big picture audience around the world, and who knows where it may go from this. It's all in God's hands. But here's the reality. It is we are going to fly to Indiana once every 3 months, maybe a little bit longer than that, but it will be no more than every 3 months. I will record all the shows while I'm there in the studio in Indiana. 13 shows. Okay, 13 shows is the segment that you have to have. Of the 13 shows, there'll be a 30-minute program, and they will be professionally done in the studios in Indianapolis and produced. So we will record 3 months worth of programs, television programs, and then they will handle all the editing, all the production, and they will send it out. Well, 3 months worth of programs, the initial setup and production of that, and the cost to be on 2 or 3 channels is going to be about $23,000. Okay, and I believe if I remember the numbers correctly, the production side of it was $10,300, something like that, and then the cost to start out on television ministry. Now listen to this. These are not little local Birmingham cable stations. These are actual television stations that are across multiple states. One particular one that they are pitching to is on DirecTV, it's on Dish Network, it's on Spectrum Television. Most everything that you have where you get your television, this channel is on there, which would be one of the 2 channels. And it's about $1,000 a week to do that, $4,000 a month to reach millions of people, potential, certainly tens of thousands of people every single week that will hear that. If you would like to help us, here's all you got to do. If you want to partner with us, and somebody, this sounds crazy. I'm not one of those money guys. Sandy will tell you this is very uncomfortable for me.
Exactly.
I've never asked for anything like this, okay?
Yes.
So Sandy and I are both very uncomfortable with this, to be honest with you. But if you'll go to LarryRagland.com or LarryRagland.tv, either one, at the top you will see the tab Give. If you click on Give, it's a very simple page. It is a one page, that's all that's on there, Give. All right, so when you click on this Give, it will take you to the place where you can give. We'll give through the processor, and you can give to the big picture, help us reach the world through TV, video, podcasts, in-person preaching. You can pay with Google Pay. You can pay with Apple Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. All of this is available. If you would like to give, any amount would be appreciated, because we're believing God. Now, this is going to sound crazy, what I'm about to say. I can't even believe I'm saying it. We are believing God that we are going to raise all of the money, which is $23,300. I don't want to hype it up. Thank you for that super sticker, Rick. I appreciate that. Yes. I'm not rounding it up saying we need $25,000. We need $30,000. No, we need $23,300 is what was projected to us for 3 months worth of television program to get us started. And when it gets started, I believe we'll get other partners. There'll be people that don't know anything about our ministry that's going to begin to help us do this. And all of that, 100% of that money goes to the production and the television.
Yes.
Not a single penny of that comes to us.
Nope.
Not one penny. That is what it costs to produce a very professional, top-notch Christian television program that will not be on local TV in Birmingham at a local station, but will be on Dish Network, be on DirecTV, be on several other television stations, that many of them that we saw and met while we were at the NRB. And we will start off small. These are not major stations. They're not Daystar, TBN. Don't begin to think that we're talking about that. That's millions of dollars. We're talking about just starting out and seeing where this goes. So we're going to put it in the hands of God. It will also be an extension of our church. I really believe that it's going to be on televisions here in Birmingham. People that don't know anything about our church and our ministry, those that are watching from Solid Rock Church and those that are in driving distance of Birmingham, I believe it's going to generate interest in our church, because we're not only going to have a television program where I'm teaching, and that Sandy and I will do classes where we teach master classes on things and have guests. We'll have special guests that we'll bring in, some of the most influential voices around. But I would say every 2 months, in that 3-month period, we'll have 2 or 3 segments of sermons from church services here at the church to promote and push people to Solid Rock Church's church website as well. So this is an extension of our church, an extension of our ministry. And if you would like to be a part of it, all you have to do is go to LarryRagland.tv or LarryRagland.com. They go to the same place. Click on the Give tab, and you'll see it. Either the picture or the link will take you right to it. Sandy, this is overwhelming. Well, what are your thoughts about Christian television after 28 years of pastoring, over 30 years of ministry? We started praying about Christian TV 30 years ago, and we really had moved on. And it's almost like God said, now that you don't even care about it anymore, look, watch what I'm about to do. And we had a producer hunt us down and say, you need to be on Christian television.
Well, it's just unbelievable. Such an incredible opportunity that we want to see just absolutely come to pass. And it will be God. If this gets done, it'll be God operating through people to help fund it. So we don't want to talk about money all the time and fundraisers and raising money.
We're not going to do that.
It's either going to happen or it's not. But we are believing that God is opening a door for us to be used to present the gospel, and that's so exciting.
Yes, and I'm seeing many people saying, I don't have Dish, I don't have Direct, I don't have cable TV, I turned it all off. Will I be able to see it? Absolutely yes, because every one of these networks also have apps. Yeah. All of these networks that are being pitched to are on Apple TV. They're on Roku. They have their own Roku app. They have their own Amazon TV app. And then they have apps for your phone. And then on top of everything, one of the things that we discussed at length with the producer is we own the material in the sense that It's going to be on television, but then we also have the opportunity to put it on the channel. So it has to be on the TV first. It makes it cycle through the television. Then we get the full show ourselves, and then we'll be able to upload the entire program here on the Big Picture as well.
Yes.
But what we're trying to tell you right now is to partner with us to help us take this message beyond YouTube, beyond Rumble. Because believe it or not, this is crazy in this world we live in. There's a lot of people that still don't really watch things like this, that still just turn their TV on, let it be played in the background. There's a lot of folks that put Christian TV on, never turn it off, leave it on all day long. And those people need to hear the gospel, but they need to, they don't just hear the gospel, and they love the Lord. That's why they're watching Christian TV. But you know what we're going to bring. We're going to open their eyes to the big picture. And I believe it's going to be a Christian television program that is not your typical Christian television program. Now, we will not be able to cover the things that we cover here, okay? They will not let us do that. But there will be some things. The producer said, look, we don't want you to not be who you are. We want y'all to be who you are, open the eyes. We're going to push the envelope as far as we can to try to get this message out. But we're not going to do it in debt. So if you want to be a part of it, nobody's going to beg you for money. We're not turning this channel into something that we're going to spend this much time all the time begging for money.
No, but this is the first time we're talking about it. So we do want to lay everything out for everyone to understand what we're looking at, what it's going to take, and God's going to make a way for it to happen. Yeah, and we're just believing for that.
Yeah, because we're not doing it if you don't.
We don't have deep pockets. So.
No, we don't.
We don't.
And the pockets that we have got holes in them.
So it'll definitely be God. And
I'll tell you this too, as we close, and I mean this humbly, what I'm about to say. We don't need Christian television.
No.
We don't need it. We don't desire it. We're not.
No.
If we're never on Christian TV for the rest of our life, we're happy with our life. We're content with what God is doing in our life, with this ministry, with our church, with our family, with our children, our grandchildren. We were not pursuing this. This pursued us. This came to us. A man from Indiana was there at the NRB, but told us one of the main objectives for me to be at the NRB was to meet you and to tell you that it's time for you to be on Christian television, and I want to help you do that. And he has been phenomenal. He's a great, great man of God. And so we just said, okay, God, we didn't ask for this. So since we didn't ask for this, and if this is you, then you're going to move on to people that need to be moved on to do it. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. We'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to tell you this. I think you've watched this enough to know that we're not going to do anything halfway. This is not going to be some podunk television program that people's going to just think it's just like a cookie cutter. No, it ain't going to be no cookie cutter. It's going to be a cutting edge, very powerful, Holy Ghost anointed. Who knows what it might end up being? We may change Christian television forever, Sandy. Who knows? Who knows?
That's just exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to give, we appreciate it. And what a blessing. The thumbs up went through the roof. We did not lose viewers. I thought, man, the viewership is going to plummet. Wow. We did not. You stayed with us.
And we're still over 2 hours.
And we're over 2 hours.
How is this happening?
Because God is blessing us here. Because we have a family here, saying this is a family. And that is why we said, you know what? We're going to tell our family. We're going to tell our family. Yeah. And look, let me also take you off the hook here. You do not have to give anything to be a part of this family, to be just right. You don't have to be a partner with us. You don't have to give a super chat, a super thing. You can watch this channel for the rest of your life and never give anything, and you will be just as important to us as anybody else. We're not going to beg people for money. We're just going to lay it out there, and we're going to give you the opportunity if you would like, because I believe you know it's good ground. If you sow into good ground, you get a good harvest. Closing thoughts.
Well, I have to agree with everything you said. And we love our family, love our online church family. We haven't even done this. You guys have created this community yourselves. And we just get to be a part of it with you. And we're so thankful. We're thankful for the opportunity to get on here and inform. Because while I'm trying to get ready to inform you, I'm getting informed myself.
Yes.
It's keeping us on our toes.
Yes.
But it's good to really know what's going on in our world.
Absolutely. And we are very thankful for you. Thankful for all the thumbs up, maybe the most thumbs up we've had live. I'd like to see that go to 175, where I'm seeing 153 right now. Can I get a few more that hadn't hit it yet to hit that thumbs up? And let's try to get it as close to 175 as possible. You know what? I know you come for news. But I think it's only fitting that we pray right now. I think we need to pray for our online church family, and pray for God's will to be done. We're just going to pray for God's will to be done. If God, thank you for that super sticker, Terry. Appreciate it so much. You guys are such a blessing. Father, in the name of Jesus, right now, God, we pray for everybody that's a part of our Big Picture family right now, that no matter what they're going through, if they're battling depression, suicidal thoughts, if their finances are in trouble, their marriage is in trouble, their kids are running from you, God, and whatever the situation that's caused pain or worry in their life, we just come in agreement right now that the peace that passes all understanding is coming into their homes, coming into their cars if they're listening, coming into wherever they're at listening to this in their ears or watching it on their phone or the screens. God, let your spirit move upon them. Lord, let them know how valuable they are to you, that their life is worth living, that God, you have a great purpose and a great destiny for them. And if there's just anybody, even if there's one watching this that doesn't know that their heart is right with God, that right now they would make sure that their heart is right with God, that they would ask you, Jesus, just say these words: Jesus, forgive me of my sins. Come into my heart right now, Lord. I'm asking you, God, forgive me. I confess you as my Lord and my Savior, because what is coming in this world, I don't want to face it without you. So I surrender my life to you in the name of Jesus. Everybody said amen. Can I get some amens? Woo! Can I get some hands up emojis?
That was good.
Oh, man.
That was good prayer. That was solid.
Man, that's solid. Did I do a solid prayer?
That was a solid prayer.
That was a solid prayer. Well, Sandy, I tell you what, you are an amazing co-host, and I appreciate you so much. Everybody loves you. Love you so much, church family. Love you for hanging in there.
We're so thankful for you guys.
We are very thankful for you. And we want to remind you that whether we're talking about the paranormal, whether we're talking about, television ministry, or we're talking about crazy stuff around the world, people getting arrested, we're always going to bring it back to Jesus, and we're always going to remind you that when you come to the big picture, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake. See you next time. I'll see you Wednesday night for Bible study. And don't forget, this week I'm doing a show on aliens.